Alright, so it is the end of the year of 2016, and a lot of people hated this year. But it's over. And it was a pretty disappointing year for blockbuster movies. There was a lot of other good movies that came out. I haven't gotten around to seeing, like Fences, supposed to be really good. La La Land is supposed to be great. So some movies I gotta see eventually. I will someday, but I only saw 12 movies in the theaters this year. So I can't do a top 10 best and a top 10 worst. So I'm just going to go through every movie I saw. I'm going to rank them. So I'm going to go from the worst to the best movie that I saw this year from 2016. There's some blah, and there's some pretty good stuff on here. So here we go. Number 12. The worst movie I saw from 2016 was Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. And this seems like it should have been a great movie. I mean, just as a fun popcorn movie, you got Superman fighting Batman in the same movie. Like, we've never seen anything like that before. You know, it should have just been a great action movie, but no, they had to go and make it really complicated and make you hate everybody in the movie and just make it super dark. And it was like a 3-hour long movie or something like that. And Jesse Eisenberg was like crazy. And it wasn't even Batman versus Superman. It was Batman versus Superman for a minute versus Doomsday versus whatever the one guy. Lex Luthor. And Wonder Woman was there too. So it wasn't even Batman vs. Superman. It was really, hey, go see our other movies that are coming out later. And it was hard to sit through. I mean, it had its moments, some flashy lights and colors to, entertain the kiddos. But it just wasn't a good movie. Okay, anyways, number 11. X-Men, what was it called? Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse. And this movie had its moments. It wasn't a terrible movie, but it was not as good as Days of Future Past, and it kind of just felt like a really generic superhero movie that we've seen a million times. It wasn't done badly, it was just not done well. So it was kind of boring. So dark. Anyways, it was kind of boring. It was generic, nothing special. It was kind of, was it one of those where a beam is up in the sky? I think it was one of those, and we all know how we all feel about that. Alright, number 10 is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I know there are people that like it. I think they're just too much of Harry Potter fanboys, and they can't realize that this movie wasn't that good. I mean, maybe it was, and I'm just upset that it's not actually Harry Potter, because I love the original Harry Potter movies, but this one was just, I didn't care about the characters at all. The creatures I didn't even think were that good. The ending and the main villain, they were just trying to go too epic and too big, and it's like, just go a little small scale. And I feel like that's a big problem with a lot of movies, like kind of the last two movies I mentioned, and a couple more later on I'm going to talk about. Alright, number 9 is the Big Friendly Giant by Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is probably one of my favorite directors. I mean, I got 2 of his movies posters right there, and he makes great movies. This is definitely not his best. I mean, it was good for what it was, but I think the little girl in the movie did a great job. Mark Rylance did a great job. It didn't feel like anything great. Nothing I'd want to watch again. It had its moments here and there, but overall, it's just kind of, maybe it was a fine movie. 8 is Finding Dory, and Pixar 90% of the times releases great movies, but every once in a while you get Cars or something like that. And this one, It could have been good, but and it was, there was some parts that were really good, but it just was a little way too over the top at times, and I mean, I'll believe in a talking fish, but I don't believe that this fish is gonna get from a pool into a bucket into a cup into a tank. Just no. This movie was way too ridiculous, but it had some good moments. Okay, and number 7, another Disney movie, The Jungle Book. I think that they did a really good job with this, but it like the animation was good. The kid in it was really good. Bill Murray was good in it. So they didn't do anything wrong. It's just a remake of The Jungle Book. And I'm not a big fan of The Jungle Book in the first place. So, you know. So basically the movies are just the last few movies. Some of them they all had their moments of good things they could have done, but they just didn't do some things right, and they just all bored me at times, basically. And none of those movies I can really see myself watching again. I mean, I could probably, if someone really wanted to watch it, I could probably sit down and watch any of those movies and not want to shoot myself, because I've seen worse movies than those movies. So now we're going to get into a little bit better movies. And number 6 is Suicide Squad. And before you freak out and say, that is the worst movie ever, I understand why people do not like this movie. And I actually do not like it as much now as I did when I first saw it. Now that I think about it. Because I think when I went into it, I really wanted to like it. And now I realize, wow, this is really flawed movie. But even then I knew it had problems. But I'd rather watch Suicide Squad than any of the movies I mentioned earlier. Because, I mean, on my paper. Even though Suicide Squad, the pacing is terrible. It's another beam in the sky trying to be too epic than what it needs to be movie. I liked Harley Quinn, I liked Deadshot. There were some neat action scenes in there. So I really I understand if you hate it. I agree with most of the reasons why people hate it, but I was able to watch it and enjoy it in the theaters. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I'll probably will someday. But number 5. Now we're starting to get into like good movies that a lot of people actually like. Was Captain America: Civil War, and I made a review for that one. And it was a good movie. I'm getting really sick of Marvel and their fanboys and fangirls. That's really making me mad. And the reason why I didn't go see Doctor Strange, I can't handle it anymore. But I did go to see this one. This was right before I started getting really sick of Marvel fans and the Marvel movies. But it was done well. There was really good action in it. Had a good story. I mean, the characters were all already set up, so it didn't have to worry about that. I liked Spider-Man in the movie, so it did a lot of things really well. It was a pretty good movie. Number 4, it should probably be lower, but since I'm a Star Wars fan, I gotta put Rogue One closer to the top. I did a review for this one too, and this movie could have been great. And when I saw the trailers for it, I was so excited because it looked good, and everything that looked good in the trailers was good in the movie. Because visually, it was a great movie. The special effects, the costumes, the action scenes, they were all great. But I did not care about these characters. I don't care about Jyn Erso or no-name blind guy and other dude. I don't even remember their names. I don't care about these characters, and that really made the movie just boring at times. Now, it picked up around the end, but I just did not care about anyone in this movie, and so that's why it's not like number 1. Like at the beginning of the year, that's what I would have probably predicted to be my number 1, but it's number 4. So what's better than Star Wars? Number 3 is Sully. I just saw this a couple days ago actually. This is the only one I didn't see in the theaters. Starring Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks, I've never seen him in a bad movie. Well, never seen him be bad in a movie. He's my favorite actor. I think I've said that before, but it's true. He's just so good. And in this movie, I don't even really see Tom Hanks. I see Sully Sullenberg or whatever. And I like this movie. I mean, this isn't gonna go down as like, Best Picture nominee or anything like that. But it was good. I knew a little bit about the thing that happened in the movie, the Miracle on the Hudson, what they call it. But it was really cool to actually see how it actually went down, and it seemed pretty accurate. Actually, I can't really say that, but I really like the scene where it's actually going down, the whole thing, because it's actually intense. It makes me feel like, oh, if I was in this situation, And I like how the movie, how they edited it it went kind of middle, beginning, end. Because I feel like if they put the whole incident at the beginning, the rest of the movie wouldn't be quite. It would be like really good beginning and then kind of slow down. But the way they did it, it made it more interesting. Anyway, so that was a good movie. I don't know if I would ever watch it again anytime soon. But yeah, so number 2 is Arrival, and this movie was probably the best movie, like best made movie. The cinematography was great in the movie, and the effects, and I love how they took a whole different take on the alien invasion stories. I really liked what they did there, and it had a great twist at the end. So at times there was parts where I wasn't too into, but overall it was probably the best movie, best made movie of the year that I saw. And now my favorite movie of the year might come to a shock to a few of you, but this was the only movie this year where I liked every aspect about it. The characters were great. The story was great. The visuals, the everything, and that's Zootopia, the Disney movie. I would have never predicted this to be the best movie I saw this year, because it was the first movie of the year that I went to go see, and I was like, oh, that was a good movie, right? Yeah, it's not gonna be my number 1. I'll wait for Star Wars to come out. That will be, yeah. But no, this movie, it's not like the best movie I've ever seen in my life, but it was really good for what it did. It had a good message for kids, everything in there. And this is the only movie from this year that I've seen more than once. And I probably will watch again. I could watch it right now if you force me to. And if I had to watch any of those movies that I mentioned, I had to watch any of them right now, it would be that one. So that's why he gets my number 1. The characters and the story just made this movie. Like you actually care. I think this is probably the only movie on that whole list where I really cared about the characters and I was really cared about what they were doing. So there you go. 2016, pretty disappointing year for blockbuster movies. And I wish I could have seen a lot more movies this year to make a better list, because there were some terrible movies like Ghostbusters and whatnot, and there's some other good movies that I wish I could have seen. Well, and I'll get eventually around to seeing like Fences and La La Land that are supposed to be good movies. So hopefully 2017 isn't looking much better though for blockbuster movies. It kind of looks like a bunch of crap. Transformers, what, 5? and what else is it? Oh, it's just garbage coming out next year. So maybe we've seen the end of good blockbuster movies. Nah, there's still a few. Like, you always get a Mad Max or Deadpool, and those are... Everybody loved those, even though I didn't see them. So, Happy New Year. That's really all. And watch out for new videos. I should be making a lot more, hopefully. I never decided for what the first theme of January will be. For the whole month, it'll be Studio Ghibli films. So look out for those. And that's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching.